So me and my home and we chopping it up, and a inmate, he had that look on his face like he was getting ready to run, but when he saw me and my home, and he just said, "Hey, can I speak to you?" And he was talking to my home, and so this inmate and the hallman, they chopping it up. The hallman like try to calms him down and put him back on the zone. So my hallman, he tells me, he said, this inmate, he want to speak to my supervisor because he's hearing everybody's thoughts in the zone. High as hell. But the hallman, he was just like, I'm gonna just talk to him and try to, get him to calm down. I go into the tower. As soon as I go into the tower, I hear the zone door slam, and then the inmate that was getting ready to run out the zone, he runs to the tower and locks himself in the tower with me. And as soon as he came in, he sat down on the floor. He had a cigarette in his hand. He sat down on the floor and he was just like, "Can you please call your supervisor? Can you please call your supervisor? Can you please call your supervisor?" He wasn't saying supervisor. He was saying the actual person name. I just don't want to say the person name because we leaving names out of this story. So the hallman, I look over and the hallman has climbed the bars in the in the window to see what is going on in the tower. And when the hallman does this, all of the inmates that I was cool with, they climbing the bars too, trying to see what's going on. They start yelling at me. So they was yelling at me. They was like, "Officer such and such, open the door. He not gonna do nothing." They was just cursing. Ooh, Lord have mercy. So I got somebody in the tower with me. He high. Don't know what he go do. I got these other inmates. They're yelling at me, telling me, forget him. But I'm like, yo, he's high. I don't know what he may or may not do. So I call over the radio. I called the supervisor that he won't. And I said, "Hey, can you come to the building?" And he was just like, "For what? What's the issue?" I just said, "Can you come to the building?" He calls me. He said, "What's going on?" I said, yeah, inmate just, locked himself in the tower with me." He said, "What?" Click. So, they still yelling at me. He's still on the floor looking scared to death, and I'm scared to death. Two inmates, they walk out of the other zone on the other side because I keep that door open. Thank God I keep that door open. Oh my God. So it was two Muslims. They was getting ready to go to church. I'm sorry for laughing. It's just looking back at this, thinking about it, it's crazy. So I'm telling them, the two Muslims, I'm like, "Hey, help me." He locked himself in here. So one of the guys, which I'm gonna just say his name. Shout out to Shabazz. Shabazz, Shabazz looked to see like who it was. He was like, "Oh, Pooh." He said, "It's a slot at the door that you can like give the inmates or the officer things to." And he was like, give me the keys, give me the keys." So I got inmates yelling at me on the other zone. They climbing this bar, this window, yelling at me. Shabazz yelling at me. He's scared to death. I'm scared to death. This inmate in the tower, it's like 3 stairs that you can go up to, and it's a rail. When Shabazz was yelling at me, and he had his hand like in the slot, the white inmate walked up the stairs and he was like, "I'm not gonna harm you. I'm not gonna hurt you. I can give you a hug to prove that I'm not gonna hurt you." And when he got like super close to me, that's when I threw the keys toward the slot where Shabaz's hand was out. He caught him, and Lord have mercy. When he opened the door, that's when my supervisor came. Hey, I'm talking about, you could tell he had been running. My supervisor had came to the building, and Lord have mercy. I got the keys and I opened the zone to the other zone. Everybody was at the door like ready to stomp this man. I can't lie, I was terrified. I was like, "Oh shit." Like this could have went really left. But it didn't, thank God. Cause I'm blessed like that. But y'all, the next time that I worked, I'm not gonna tell y'all what happened to this man, but I will tell y'all like the next time that I worked, he did not leave the bed. Like, I don't think he went to go get nothing to eat. I don't think he went to use the bathroom. The very next time I worked, he didn't he did not leave that rack. They was pissed off at him. I'm so blessed, Lord.